Awesome, man. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, incredibly exciting time, obviously, with Power Slap just starting 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
You know, Wondering a little bit about your backstory, man. What brought you to Power Slap and how'd you get in the slap game?
It's kind of I got lucky. I was one of the last guys to actually get a spot to do the qualifiers back in March. Sal, shoot, I kill his last name every time I say it, Moscow or however you say his last name,
Oh,
Sal.
good, man.
He reached out to me on Facebook. He's seen some of my MMA background and know some of the people that I've kind of dealt with in my MMA career. So he reached out to me and asked if kind of told me they were opening this new slap thing and asked if I was willing to, go in as a welterweight. So I was like, why not? And there I went. So that's pretty much how I got into it. I never actually I watched a few videos, they'd pass by on, YouTube or Facebook and stuff. And so I kind of knew about it, but I never really thought about doing it at the time. But here I am.
Yeah. Like, did you second guess yourself at all? I mean, some of the guys said, like, even when they arrived in Vegas, they weren't really sure what to expect. Everything was kind of kept hush hush. Um, like, what was your process when you got your tickets, got on that flight, arrived to Vegas? Like, when did it sink in that this was actually real? Or were you kind of like, were you a little unsure going into the process?
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely, butterflies in the stomach and nerves. To be honest with you, this was more nerve wracking, more hard to really accept, I guess, that it's something real. You know what I mean? It's because when it was actually brought to my attention that it was actually going to happen, there was a lot of people out there that were kind of commenting that it's fake, it's not really, through this or that. And so they were kind of keeping a secret, hush hush, on like who the people were that were actually at the start of it, the head of it. And so they weren't, with what they were holding back, even knowing they got me a plane ticket. And I was like, man, it's like, okay, who could be paying all these plane tickets to get us up here to do this if it's not gonna, be something? So once I seen, the plane tickets were purchased and I had, someone meet me at the airport that had this slap, sign and had my name. And so it started coming to. I was like, man, this is actually like for real. This is gonna be something. Like, it's not just an MMA fight where you're driving yourself to, or with your coaches, and you do your weigh-ins and you fight and you go home. It's something huge. It's so I never really second guessed myself if I was gonna do it, because once I told Sal that I was gonna do it, I was already signed up. That was my mindset. I already committed to Sal saying I'll do it. So uh
Nice,
so
nice.
once I got up there, I just and seen everything and seen how it was all playing out. I went with it. It's something new. Yeah, I just went with the flow. Yeah.
Cool,
I'm
cool,
not
man.
a hyphy guy. I mean, I'm kind of laid back and mellow usually. So, uh, all that kind of scene. I'm not a shit talker really. I don't really shit talk to my opponents and stuff. And
Yeah.
so that's a different kind of scene for me.
Yeah, yeah. So 5 kids, 2 jobs. Did you have any time to do any type of formal training before you got to Vegas?
Uh, not a whole lot. It's I have a 2-car garage that is all mine. We don't park our cars in there. So I have, bag and speed bags, and I have some cowbells and a few things in there. And um so I work some calisthenics, used a lot. I'm a golfer also, so that kind of helps with, my wind up, that motion, with um the swing. So um yeah, not really. I train maybe once a week, maybe twice a month sometimes. It's so Not really. I'm a contractor, by trade. So a lot of the work I do is really how I get a lot of the muscle I have and the shape that I am in. Um, so uh,
Gotcha. So are you trying to balance an MMA career and a slap career at this moment? Or you try and do both? You're gonna try and focus on one?
yeah. No, I want to do both. The slap stuff. It's only once here in a blue moon. They don't even really tell us when the events are. I know there's one coming up in March for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They still haven't given us a date for that, which I'm actually not sure if I'm actually on that event or not. I haven't been told yet, so I'm kind of still in the dark on that. But yeah, I want to definitely do my MMA and my slap. I'm actually thinking about getting into boxing. I'm pretty good with my stand up. That's usually where I can get a lot of my opponents is on the stand up. So I've really been thinking about trying to get into boxing or some BYB or BKFC.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Yes. So you just competed on January 14th, correct? In MMA. How'd that
I,
go?
I didn't get to compete.
Oh,
So the event that we had for the house, I it's kind of put me in a bind right here. It hasn't aired yet. So from how that event went, I ended up having a 45-day suspension.
gotcha.
So the week of fight week, I actually got an email and a call from the Nevada Athletic Commission and letting me know I had a 45-day suspension and a medical suspension, and I wasn't able to have that fight that Saturday. So I'm actually still looking to do my pro debut. I've talked to a few different promoters. I'm trying to. I want to get on a big show. There's the show that I was gonna do. There's kind of some hate love relationship there because of me not being able to fight.
Mhm.
So that kind
Cool.
of it sucks because it's my hometown, but
Oh, good man. Yeah, no, that
yeah,
enough said, man. Didn't want to put you on the spot, man. Don't want you to say anything
yeah,
that you can't say. I know you're probably contractually obligated to keep a tight
yeah,
lip, but let's talk about what's out there already. Obviously, Jules Scott was your first opponent in episode one.
yeah.
What did you think about that guy before going into the match? I mean, obviously, you probably sized him up. You probably knew you were going
Oh
to
yeah.
fight him ahead of time. Like, what was your thoughts?
Actually, it's funny. I kind of had a thought from when I see the guy at the hotel. Um, he didn't really look at my size, because he's a lot shorter than I was. So I was like,
Yeah.
he might be able to be around my weight. I was actually the smallest guy out of the whole event. Normally I fight 135s, 145s,
Right.
and I was trying to make to 155. And I actually just had a fight in January before that event in March, so
Mhm.
I was already at a low weight. It's really hard for me to gain weight. I have a fast metabolism, no matter how I've used weight gainers and all kinds of stuff to really gain weight. But so I knew I was gonna go in light, and he was a heavier guy, and I knew he was a big guy. He had some big old mitts on him, and he's got, but it, it is a slap. It is the first event for everybody. None of us has ever done it. It can go either way, and so yeah, I definitely sized him up. See, try to see, how he worked out or if he did any kind of workouts. I looked him up, and
Mhm.
once I knew we were gonna, slap against each other, but
Yeah, absolutely.
it's
I
yeah,
mean, you talked about having a significant height advantage, probably one of the most, biggest height differentials in the entire show to date. Do you think your
yeah.
height is an advantage or disadvantage in the slap game?
Um, I think it's a disadvantage going against someone that's shorter. I just feel, coming from that up force, you kind of have a little bit more. You can catch the chin a little different than coming square.
Mhm.
Someone that's more at like my height, you're coming more at a square instead of a down, upwards. I don't know. Like the game's so new. I feel like he has a little advantage being shorter, which I'm not sure. We still, me and Jewel talk, and he even tells me to this day that out of all the slaps he's encountered already, he said I still am the one that's hit him the hardest. So,
Oh,
you
nice,
know,
nice.
yeah, that makes me feel good, but
Cool. That's actually great segue. I mean, obviously the start of the match, they didn't air the coin toss, but I'm assuming you won and you elected
yeah,
to slap first.
yeah,
Had great speed on your first slap that you had. It seemed
yeah.
like it connected fairly well. What did you think of that slap? I mean, it didn't phase them too much, but what were you thinking?
Well, so the way that they explained the rules, that was really going through my head. I really didn't want to throw a penalty. I didn't want to foul. I didn't want to step. I didn't want to club. So I was really trying to do technique. And with how they kind of explained it, I guess I kind of took it different with how they said the positioning of the hand. And so like I said, I was just really focusing on technique, and so I didn't want to foul or nothing. And so when I delivered, I knew. I don't know if you guys can see in the video, but when I gave that first slap, I kind of shook my head and I knew I didn't, deliver the slap that I really want. I knew I had a good wind up, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really place it very well, and I knew that. And but I seen that he was when he wind up for his first slap, I realized, and they didn't call him for it, that kind of bending and this. And I was like, okay, I can actually do some a little
Yeah.
different. That's why my second, I kind of was able to put a little bit more into it. But
Yeah. So Jewel calls a right three. You're standing there, you're getting ready to take your first lap in competition, something you've never done before. Walk through, the mentality and what's going through your mind as he winds up through, his preparation.
um, so I didn't really want to look at him in his eyes, because uh I don't know. I wanted to look down. I was wanting to look down at his chest. I didn't want to really I wanted to not see the slap, but I wanted to see the slap. You know what I mean? But with knowing that how many count, and it's being counted out loud, and
Yeah.
knowing he was going to slap on three, I just I just bit down and I clenched, on my mouthpiece and flexed my neck. As soon as they said two, and he went to wind back for his third. That's when I went for the clinch, to
Mhm.
try to absorb the hit.
Totally.
But
I mean, you definitely. I mean, you absorbed it well. I mean, you went down to a knee to compose
yeah,
yourself. I'm sure it hurt like hell.
yeah,
But you know what? It didn't seem to phase you too much. I mean, you seem to be under control.
yeah. Actually, on that first hit, it actually didn't really daze me that much. I actually felt like he fouled me. I don't know if you guys, if you really look at the video, I'm kind of touching my face, and well, he slapped me on this side, but he scratched me on this side of my face,
Interesting.
you know, and so that's why, like, when I took the towel, I was dabbing my face, is
Yeah.
because he kind of like he caught me in the eye and he like scratched my face on the opposite side of my face. You know what I mean? So, and I thought that was a foul, so I thought they were gonna call it. And so that's why I kind of stayed to the ground when he's like, oh well, you got 20 seconds or whatever. That's why I instantly got right back up and went to the box because I was composed. I wasn't actually really dazed then.
Mhm.
But once he said how many seconds I had, I was like, all right, I need to get to the box. But yeah,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, that first slap. I mean, have you been hit harder in MMA?
yeah, I
Okay.
have. The thing about it though, is you're not protecting yourself. You know what I mean? Even when getting hit in MMA,
Hmm.
when you're protecting yourself, those one hits get through. You're throwing a lot of force, and
Totally.
it connects different. I feel,
So
but
did you feel like you had some experience from your MMA that you felt that feeling before? Like you still feel in control at that point?
well, yeah. I've been hitting the chin and stuff a lot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whether it's the first time by a slap, but kind of how to absorb that hit. How to go with that hit. But that's the thing is with the rules they have with like flinching and stuff, and trying to absorb that hit. You don't want to move your head too soon and make it a flinch, so to try to really absorb that hit, it's you kind of want to just stay still and try to like really absorb it, because you
Hmm.
might take a chance of flinching and them calling a flinch even though you're just trying to absorb the hit or go
Yeah.
with it. You know what I mean? Because when you're getting punched in MMA and stuff like that, usually you can back up, you can go with it, whatever. So
Totally.
you don't take the hit quite as hard, I guess. But
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
definitely so new. And I'm sure you guys probably, like, they didn't have a whole lot of time when you got there. And I know there's been a little bit of talk about what they're
yeah,
calling about kind of a rollout and, being able to time that rollout effectively without,
right,
moving too quickly. So, I think the more and
yeah,
more that the sport evolves, I think you'll see more, kind of tactics around that and how to kind of time that better and not absorb the full, brunt of the blow every single time.
yeah, agreed.
But yeah, so you get a second chance at Jewel. Walk us through that. That attempt.
Yeah, so it's my second slap, and like I said, from the first slap, but I realized I didn't connect that well. Like I kind of really just got him with my fingertips, and I didn't really get my whole hand on his face. So I concentrated more on extending my arm. Is what I did is when I did my wind up, like I still lined my fingertips on his cheek, and then but as I went through, I pushed my shoulder forward
Gotcha.
on my follow through, and so that gave me it pushed my hand a little further forward, so that way it connected closer.
Yeah.
Um, so just uh, watching him hit me and how
Mhm.
he was able to, I kind of took from some of what he did
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
to put into my second slot, but it was all new. It's something crazy.
Oh, good, man. I mean, obviously, you knocked him back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Jewel, quite the showman. Obviously, trying to get the crowd into it. Very, very vocal. Did that get in your head at all, or were you just stoic?
No,
You're good.
no. I'm a pretty calm guy. I mean,
Hmm.
I can tell that I can see someone's actual, expressions. I can see, I've been fighting for fuck since I was 19. I'm 31,
Yeah.
so a lot of years. So I can kind of tell when someone's dazed or not, or and I can tell that he was a little dazed. He definitely you know got composed fast, but I definitely knew I dazed him. So uh, he's just a guy that likes to hype. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not that person. You can kind of see it in the event.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just smaller.
I think
Yeah,
it actually worked to your guys' advantage, though. I mean, obviously, you guys were able to get on the main part of the show.
yeah,
A lot of the matches, kind of, in the second half, they just kind of breezed through, but they gave you guys a lot of airtime.
yeah,
So I think that's probably part and part, that goes along with it. The entertainment value that comes with the sport definitely plays into it.
definitely.
I know you may not want to talk about it, but let's just talk about that last slap by Jewel. A little bit. Kind of looked very similar to, the first slap that he gave you.
Yeah.
Went down to the knee again. I didn't think you looked all that dazed, but what happened there? And tell me what kind of led to you pulling your mouthpiece out.
I actually don't remember that.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Crazy.
I don't remember saying I'm good. I don't remember pulling my mouth. I don't remember leaving the stage, to be honest with you guys.
Gotcha.
So no, he got me on that one. I don't remember the ref telling me we're right here taking knee. That was the first time I got to see it. Because
Yeah.
um, once it aired, that was the first time I actually got to see the fight myself. So I didn't actually know what happened. And I thought I got knocked out. I I remember being in the back and apologize. I'm sorry, guys. I tried and da da da. But so no, I
Yeah.
don't remember bowing to him. I don't remember raising Joel's hand. None of that. So he
Gotcha.
he, he got me. He I I knew it was coming. I knew from the first hit he delivered a decent hit, so I knew
Yeah.
that he was going to give a good hit. Um, it's just, yeah, he connected, I definitely thought he fouled, after, and uh, when I watched from when I remember from back when in March when I was watching him, I looked down when he was on his third and I seen his back heels come up. And you can watch, yeah, if you watch me in the video, you can actually look at me, look down. I was like, and I kind of like, you know, and I was like,
Hmm.
but they didn't call it, and I was like, fuck. So, but I don't remember getting knocked out. So,
Totally.
um,
Totally.
then watching the video, I keep posting. I'm like, I should win that fight. He definitely, he hella lifted his feet. But
Yeah.
it was, new event,
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the health and safety protocols and, how they took care of you, um, did you feel that it was adequate?
Oh yeah,
You feel like they took care of you overall? Yeah.
the way from the day that we got up there till the end of the time we left, it was still to this day, it's the best events that I've ever dealt with. The professionalism, the way that they treat us, everything they do medical wise and staff wise. I love the promotion. I will go back every time they ask me to come back, so um a lot of people talk, about how they do this or they don't pay this or it's, well, we don't have to sign a contract. We don't have to agree to it. We all agree to the pay that they pay us and the terms that they give us. You know what I mean? So, um, you got to be humble. You know what I mean? If you're going to sign something and agree to something, be humble and do what and that's what I am is
Totally.
I live on principle, so,
Totally. I
but
mean, there obviously, 2 episodes in, there's been a bit of bad press, to start people not fully understanding what the sport is all about. The more and more
yeah.
I talk to fighters, they talk that it's actually safer than it looks. And it might just be a bit of, entertainment value that's showing some of the shock and awe here in the beginning. Where do you see, the sport of slap going from here?
Honestly, I see it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go. Just like the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter did. You
Mhm.
know, if you do the research and you look at all the other slap fights that are out there, it's all the views they have, the way that they went national and overseas. There's gonna be people that are gonna be into it, and I know people personally that said, "Oh, that's stupid. I'm not gonna watch that. I can't believe that. This and that." They're watching it. They're like, "Dude, this is actually crazy. This is super entertaining. Like, this is wow, dude. Like, people have got guts,
Yeah.
and So it's just, of course, there. If everybody thought the same, the world would be kind of boring. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
um, everyone's gonna have their different thoughts and this and that, but you know, um, I think that it's gonna go far,
Totally.
and hopefully I get to be there for the whole
I
show.
agree with you, man. I mean, I'm not sure if you watch After Slap,
Mhm.
episode 2. They had AJ on, and he
Yeah,
talked about actually not training at all. Said he hit the heavy bag once and it hurt his shoulder.
yeah.
When do you think you see, slap, strikers changing to a more frequent and regular and very targeted training protocol for the sport?
Um, I think it's on the person. You know what I mean? There's so many different personalities and different people out there, and that's involved in the slap that some things work for others. You know what I mean? It's like me with being a contractor is,
Yeah,
you know, knowing I didn't get to do that much training really, I was still able to put decent numbers, good slaps out because of the type of work I do that helps. So I think the lifestyle that certain people live is going to determine if they need to really, you know, do any kind of training, which me is my main thing is I know I have strength and stuff, but I want to work on my neck.
yeah,
I want to be able to take that absorb a little better. You know what I mean? I want to be able to take that hit better. So I'm working on getting my upper body, my neck and shoulders and everything bigger. So that way, not only can I give a hit, I can take it a little better than I did. So
yeah. Awesome. Yeah, actually my background comes from the bodybuilding realm. So I live and breathe the gym. So when I actually watch, the sport, I'm always looking at the technical, the angles, looking at, the different muscle groups that can be utilized, trying to, create as much momentum and as quickly, as possible. And so I got a ton of things running through my mind. I hope we can connect later offline, man. I got some great ideas, some things that I think can help you.
Definitely.
Even just some basic exercises with some dumbbells, working your front lateral, working your chest, being able to, connect and pull your chest through. Like, I think there's a lot of really good things, from the psychology of training that can help you fighters, to be able to, get your numbers up in testing, but also, cause more damage. So,
Right on.
appreciate everything that you're doing. I hope we see you back on live events here very, very soon. It sounds like you guys don't know too much, but I'm sure, once it gets to the finale, I'm sure you guys will start hearing more information. And we really appreciate you joining me here on Slap News. And I hope it's the first of many times we're able to sit down and talk to you.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on. I look forward to all the upcoming interviews and coming out as a winner, and I'm coming for that belt. So you guys will definitely be knowing Anthony Green.
Perfect. Where can people follow you?
Oh, I have TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok at Anthony Green 9119, or excuse me, 1991. And then also Instagram. Also, I have a YouTube channel. You can follow me there, or Facebook. Um, those are everywhere I go.
Awesome, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.